Have you been talking to my wife again? And my answer is talk to a world. So the theory behind it is, they're not really decades now, is that for people who come to visit who are not trained Episcopalians, more welcoming because they don't have to have a prayer book. Probably everybody. We could. We may end up doing it. That's right. Money's not really a problem. It's getting enough people confused. Coming in. I don't want to be on the committee again. We may have to record here. But then something comes early or late. We always get the argument that early people don't want to come later, and later people don't want to come earlier. Well, then nobody comes. All being equal, looks like you're 20% people come and look for buying books and books and books. through the pool. That's what we do. You guys help out.
I don't do it with anybody, but I've got my 2 cage rackets sitting in my house.
There we go. I'm finally learning how to do some of this tech stuff. It's a little scary. Good morning again. Again, this is Reverend Wes Smedley who's here. His colleague Eric will be joining us to talk about St. Leonard Ministries. And I'm going to turn this over to you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So it's great to be with you. I was forgetting that Susan Summers was here, and she's someone who I really respected early on in my, and currently, but early on in my ministry. She ran for bishop, I think, in the Diocese of Virginia when I was serving in Virginia, Northern Virginia, and was just so impressed by everything about her. So neat to know that she was here before. So my name's Wes Smedley. I was a rector in downtown Chicago for about 10 years at a place called St. Chrysostom's Church. And before that was in the Diocese of Northern Virginia, or Virginia, and right outside of Washington, D.C. And before that was in Philadelphia, which is where I was ordained, and met my wife. And we have 3 daughters and live in Ukrainian Village. So it's just a privilege to be here with you. It's a privilege to be working with my colleague Eric Blades and many other colleagues from St. Leonard's Ministries. Many of you know a lot about St. Leonard's and could probably give this talk, and I want Eric to be the main event because he has lived experience. He's not only a leader in the community, but he's an alumni of St. Leonard's Ministries, and is just has a remarkable story, not surprisingly, of death and resurrection, which we heard about in Lazarus' story today. And my role there is kind of twofold. It's facing inward. It's a pastor to the community, really, as a chaplain. And there are lots of interesting needs, as you can imagine, when you come out of prison or jail. Many people haven't seen a cell phone. You know, they don't literally haven't, or they've heard about it, but they've never seen one, don't have one, don't know how to work, how to apply for a job online. Just technology is so much different than even 20 years ago. Some of the men and women have been in for, mostly men have been in for 40 years or more. So imagine coming out after 40 years, and it's just, it's a new world in many ways. So one of the things about St. Leonard's, again, I want Eric to, he's in the restroom, but I want him to tell his story. But one of the things that's so remarkable about St. Leonard's, in my view, is the continuum of care. So many places in Chicago and in cities like Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, and others, Philadelphia, where I'm from, will have one thing like housing. So important, right? You need to have housing. But it's often a warehouse type experience where you gotta go somewhere during the day and then at night you gotta get there before midnight or get there before a certain time and then out the next morning and that's it. Or there's a mental health facility, or there's an addiction recovery program somewhere. So you have sort of these scattered things. But rarely will you have everything right there. And so something that's really unique about St. Leonard's, and I'm just learning, I've been there about 7 months now, after being a congregational rector for about 20 years. So it's a big change for me too, but one of the things I'm learning is that it's a little bit like a monastery. It really is. That would be my understanding. So you have a beautiful dining hall there. So men and women have three meals, 3 delicious meals a day. There's several chefs on staff. They make food and it's delicious and outstanding. And then if you're coming out of jail or prison and you have some physical illnesses or needs, there's Rush Hospital nurses and doctors right there on the grounds. And then right next to them is the Adler School of Psychology. So you have professional therapists right there on the grounds. And several folks may not have ever experienced therapy before. And it can be a life-changing thing to step back, take stock, and as I hear a lot of, with the men mostly, but sometimes with the women too, but there's such a sense of introspection and almost getting to know yourself for the first time. Because when you're surviving, I haven't been to prison, so I don't have that experience. But when you've been surviving for your whole life, even since being a little child, you've learned to just get by with however you can get by. And so you don't actually get to know yourself, your gifts, your talents, your passions, your joys, your sorrows, all these things. And so having a St. Leonard's that takes care of the food, takes care of the housing with dignity, takes care of your physical health, takes care of your mental health. I'm a clergy person, so we have Bible study and prayer time together and often just sharing. We have worship. So there's just you're sort of embraced. I think the social work term is a continuum of care. And so it really brings you from a place of being in an institution that really doesn't care, we might say, into an organization that just says, we want you to grow, to thrive, and to bear fruit in your life, and we want you to feel empowered. The last piece I'll sort of share is that there are these amazing classes. So in addition to all of the living situation things that are so helpful, if you want, this is what really, one of the things that really makes it special to be there is there are these classes. So there's a high school course. So you get your high school completion. There's a construction class. It's really intense, 14 weeks. Eric's a graduate of that and many other things. There's a cooking class, culinary arts. So again, several weeks of intense study with a professional chef. The chef on staff now is a 2-time winner of Cutthroat Kitchen, which was on the Food Channel several years ago. She's from the South Side, a French-trained chef, and she was asked to come twice. She won twice on this show called Cutthroat Kitchen. So she's just a remarkable person, remarkable experience. She's teaching not just how to cook, but how to cook from scratch, which is rare these days, as we all know. You go into a store or 7-Eleven, everything's prepackaged. And so she's teaching them, if they make pasta, they roll out the pasta and run it through the pasta maker. They make it. If they make potato chips, they cut the potatoes and they fry it up themselves and sprinkle, and create whatever it is they put on top. And it's amazing. They made giardiniera the other day. So these are some of the things, and now that Eric's back, I'm going to and ask Eric if you'd be willing to just share your story and anything about St. Leonard's that you want to say.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to come here today, and I love your church. This is a beautiful church. My name is Eric Blades. I am alumni from St. Leonard's Ministry. I came there because I did 25 straight years in the penitentiary. I came there, just being gone that long from society, not, just getting home, wanting to do so much and, everything just running through your mind. I got there, they welcomed me, with love, told me to slow down, take your time. So they helped me get my ID. They helped me get a lot of things together. I went through the classes. I took up, like he said, the construction class there. I graduated from there. I'm an alumni. And then I went to the construction class, graduated, and I came back there, and they ended up giving me a job there. So now I work maintenance at St. Leonard's Ministry. I also do desk clerk at the other building, St. Andrew's Court. I do a house coordinator where I sit in the house and I sign the residents in. And also I got a job through the Second Chance program with CTA. I work there at nights. So, St. Leonard Ministry is just a blessing to me. It's nothing bad that I can say because everything I needed, they had it. They don't ask for anything. They just want you to just participate in their programs, they have Walk Into Success. They have different places, and they just plugged in with so many other places that you can get you a good job at, Because like I said, when I came home, I didn't have nothing left. I had family, but, I just wanted to, just be on my own and try to figure it out, And I had, I met a therapist there, right? And I thought if you talk to a psychiatrist, you're just crazy, you know what I'm saying? I thought it was just for crazy people. But actually it was good for me because, it was just so much that I wanted to, I didn't know, just talking to somebody that would listen to you and not talk about you behind your back, because people do that. you know, it was a blessing just to have someone to talk to and get up to speed about life and what's going on. Because when I left, you know, I was just, you know, technology wasn't like this now. So when I came home, I didn't even know how to use a cell phone, you know. And St. Leonard's Ministry, they taught me so much. I went to their computer class, learned how to get on my little computer, learning how to work the internet. They helped me through so much. And it's just a blessing to be here to share my story with everyone and tell everyone how great of a place that is. They help you, they give you 3 meals a day. They help you get your link card, you know, that's so people can, you know, buy their little toiletries or whatever, because St. Louis give you everything, but they still just preparing you to come out and get back into society so you can just live life, you know, and the staff is there is great. They understand you because some have been incarcerated, and they also understand where you at because, you know, just dealing with people that's coming out to penitentiaries or wherever they, you know, coming out to penitentiary, sometimes it's best to understand what they really going through, because people just go through so much just coming home. They want to do so much. They want to get back in it. And sometimes, you know, when you just coming back out here in these streets, you get caught up in the moment. You might get pulled back into what you know, that got you where you was at anyway. But for me, I sat there in those penitentiaries. I learned a lot of things. I learned how to cook. I got over 30 years of cooking now. You know, I know how to do floor maintenance. I know how to do maintenance work. You know, it's just, you have to apply yourself. And I applied myself to a lot of things, read a lot. I read my Bible back and forth from the beginning to the end a few times, because, you know, that first time you read, you don't get your understanding. You know, God is just so good, how he just bless you and just anoint you. And you know, you meet good people on your way through your journey through life. You know, it was just, I started off with in the projects in Chicago, Augill Garden, far south side. I had a good mom. My mom was a great parent. You know, just when I just got older, you know, I got out there in the streets, I just veered off that road. You know, I lost who I was, but when I did my time, I found myself again, and now I'm here sharing my story. You know, I know I'm jumping from here to here, but I have a lot of stories to tell, you know, so I'm glad, and I thank you for just giving me the opportunity to come here and smile and let you see that people that come out the penitentiary, people have this stigma about them, like, oh, you're just going to do this. But that's not true. A lot of people come out the penitentiary is just good people. Now, you do have some bad people in the penitentiary, but it's a lot of good people that come out that got their mind right and want to do good. And it's good that it's places like St. Leonard, it's a place like St. Leonard Ministry that will help you stay on a positive track and get your life together. Because like I said, they hook you back up with Section A. You know, they give people good apartments. You know, and you know, you just live life and it's just a blessing to be here, to share my story with you. And I thank you for having me here. And I just share my love with every last one of you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
So I get to go out with Eric. We visit churches, and that's sort of the outward-facing position that I have. And so when we visit, I've gotten to go with Eric several times. Sometimes we're at the youth group. Sometimes we're with a congregation like y'all. Sometimes it's a weeknight or a Saturday, and sometimes it's a Sunday morning. So it's a real gift. I want to pause and just ask if you all have questions for Eric. Mostly he knows St. Leonard's inside and out. Again, I'm a newbie, but I'll do my best to answer where I can. But just any questions about the carceral process in our country, or the city, or just the experience at St. Leonard's, or Eric's story itself. Yes?
Yes, I'd just like to know, Eric, when you were due to be released, how long before you were released?
I'm sorry. I came home January, my voice is good, loud, I don't even need this. I left January 95, the 12th, and I came home 2020, January 2022. No, January 2020, I'm sorry. So I've been home like 3 years now. I'm on parole. I got off parole early.
What I meant to ask was there an interim period before your release when there was some agency inside the penitentiary to help you? How were you, for example, introduced to St. Leonard's?
To St. Leonard's, okay. Okay, so when you get, if you like say if you have they have counselors in the penitentiary, so like as you get closer to your date, they start telling you to look for somewhere to go, right? So they give you a listing of different halfway houses, like your family. If you're gonna go home to your family, they start preparing you, right, to do that. So I found out through St. Leonard's Ministry because I didn't know nothing about a halfway house. That was my first time ever getting incarcerated. You know, my first time, you know, I looked up and get 50 years and I had to do 25, you know. But it was a word of mouth. I was a laundry porter, and I'm just sitting there, I was talking to guys like, hey, you going home real soon? I was like, yeah, I'm about to ready to go. They was like, man, it was this Latino guy. He's like, man, I know a place, man, it's sweet, man. They take care of you, feed you, they give you food, they don't ask you for nothing. All you gotta do is stay in their program. That's how I found out about St. Leonard's Ministry. And it's funny because they have some programs, and you know, some people have programs and they misuse the system. You know, you got some places where you will go and it's terrible, you know. And I heard stories about some places where they won't have your little link card. You probably getting $90 a month. They won't have that. They tell you got to go out and leave early in the morning, just be back at a certain time. So they just let you go, to your own devices, and it's sad that it happens, but some people screw up and some's not. And unfortunately, what happened with me, I had got caught up in that because they had told me I was going to a certain place on 55th over on Garfield, right? And I was like, oh, and I know somebody been there, like, man, just don't leave your stuff there. And they're stealing it outside, selling drugs, all kind of stuff going on in that neighborhood. So I was like, oh, wow, okay. So I said, I can deal with that, though. I know how to survive. So, about 4 days before I went home, I went to BFI, and that's when you go take your last picture and your fingerprint, stuff like that. And they told me, they said, no, you're not going there, you're going to St. Leonard's. Because I put in for St. Leonard's, but I thought like at the last minute, because I found out at the last minute about that place. And so, but I ended up catching that blessing, and I ended up going to St. Leonard's Ministry, and I haven't looked back since.
We have folks, Christian Road, so we have folks in who are employees of St. Leonard's, and they go into jails and prisons and give a presentation much like a job fair, and just say, hey, if it fits, we'd love to have you. And there are some sort of marks of what's a fit and what's not. But if you're wanting to come in and work the program, come through it, 6 to 9 months, then get your own place and so forth, then there's a fit. Sorry.
So I was just going to ask a little bit about, if you could talk a little bit about what's the program itself. I mean, how long? I just heard 9 months. I mean, are you there several years? Are you in classrooms?
Oh, and St. Leonard's?
Yeah. And also, is there much camaraderie with other people at St. Leonard's?
Okay, when you come in, right, they have a company, they have a Rush, and they have Adler there, right? So you go through different classes. You got anger management, you got the drug program, you have different type of classes that you have to participate in. Once you sign that contract with them, they want you to go. They make sure you up out that bed. They give you you get your little details in the house to keep the house clean. You want your detail like keeping the first floor clean, vacuuming and everything like that. But you have to go through you have to go to these programs. That's part of the deal of being there. That's all they want you to do. And they're very good programs. You go every day and they punch you in, sign you in, and you learn a lot because you sit in rooms and you just listen to everyone talk. Everybody, discussing different things. They had another program named, it was like you just read stories and everybody, talks about what they read, get their own ideas on different things. And it don't be no violent, because I might not agree with you saying, but, just give everybody, just to learn everybody and just dealing with different type of personalities. But all their programs are great.
So for 6 to 9 months, you work the program, and you're actually not allowed to get a job for those first 6 months, because at St. Leonard says, look, if you're trying to scramble to get a job, we will provide everything that you would need money for, because we believe that if you just try to scramble back and get a job, then you will fall into the same routines. So we want to give you kind of reset your routines to give you healthy routines that you can learn, then go off. So after 6 or 9 months, what happens after that?
Okay, then after that, if you don't have they said if you're on the wait list, but you still get in there. St. Andrews Court next door, it's like it's an apartment like 42 units. They have IDOC, then they have CHA apartments over there, right? So you go over there and you have a little small little studio apartment. You got your little kitchenette in there, your stove, electric stove, refrigerator. You got your own place, and you pay I think like $75, something like that. But they save your money up for you that whole year that you pay, and they give it back to you at the end of the year. And
That's after the 9 months.
right after the month that you leave St. Leonard's. So you have a choice to go there. You just move back with your family, whatever you want to do. But I think that's a great program too, because you sit there a year, you go over there for a year, and they give you your CHA voucher. And the CHA voucher is great in Chicago because they put you in great places. I know a person that lived downtown in Chicago, and when you look out his window up on the 25th floor, you look out, you're looking right at Navy Pier, the big Ferris wheel. I'm like, man, I want to live in your apartment so bad. Yeah, but I mean, it's really a great program. They really take care of you, and I appreciate and I love all the people that comes there and donate and help, because a lot of people just look at people differently when they're coming home from the penitentiary. They look at TV and think this was going on in the penitentiary. I remember one son I got in trouble when 25 years in the penitentiary. You gonna get in trouble going down the road, but I had went to SEG once, so my mom watches TV all the time, so she thought I was in a dark room with no windows, just getting fed water and bread. I said, no, I'm not eating like that. They feed you, but it's you have to really talk to people and understand. Don't pay attention to the fiction that you see on TV. But that's what happens when you once you go through the program at St. Leonard's. They send you next door. They help you get a job. They plug in with a lot of people. Like I got through the Second Chance program at CTA, and I'm working nights. I clean buses at the terminal on Kesey, right off the expressway over there. They have a lot of different places that they work with, and they work with you good. As long as you participate and stay focused, they will help you a lot.
Do the second part of your question, right? Is there a second part?
I think he answered everything I was asking.
I had a question. How many residents do you have at any one time?
I think we have 117 bedrooms. So 117 is where what we can do now. I think right now we're about 105. I think there are a few vacancies, just up and down. We're going to be doing some renovations on the residences because, and maybe speak to this if you want, Eric, but when folks come home, when you're in the residence of St. Leonard's, before you go to what's called St. Andrews Court, which is secondary housing on your own, get your own spot, your own little, your single apartment. Before that, while you're working the program for the first 6 to 9 months, you're in residence, and when you're in residence, right now you can have 2 or 3 other roommates, which isn't ideal after you've been in, for a long, whether it's 6 months or 16 years or whatever, it's not fun. So what our work is in the coming year really is to create a residential experience with greater dignity, which is the history of St. Leonard, so that when even those first 6 to 9 months, you have your own room. It's one person to a room. And so that might bring it down by a few rooms, might go from 117 to 112 or something, but we're going to keep it. But what we want to do, instead of just making it into this big warehouse of people, we want to actually have really high quality of life for people. Does that make sense? Did I say that right?
Yeah, I have another question. The class that you talk on here about volunteers for high school, teaching high school or tutoring, do you hold the classes yourselves, and is it a GED program?
It's a high school program. It's saying that they high school certificates recognized through a lot of different places in the city. So they going through high school. It's a high school program. It's not the GED.
Oh, okay.
Right. The GED is something different.
Yeah.
Apparently, again, I'm just learning. I'm not trained in social work, but as I understand, the GED now has become something that's actually pretty complex and takes
have a, St. Andrews Court. And then right there on the same, right behind the other building, you have the Atlas building where you go to your Atlas class. So with the council.
So everything's right there. The only campus that is a little bit removed is Grace House, which is a women's residence. So there's the United Center, so St. Leonard's campus is here. That's what I sort of saying it's like a monastery. It's there because there's a big old church, there's a beautiful church there too. We all worship there. And then on the other side of the United Center, quarter mile away is the women's.
So it's like if I stand right there in front of the building, they're gonna put a Bulls player right there. Right across the street.
So I was going to say, I just wanted to share, one of the things I noticed coming out of the church is really two things. One, a deep spirituality at St. Leonard's, deep spirituality. So it feels to me like a congregation. You know, Eric and I will often have, we'll have theological conversations in the car rides to places. And there is deeper than I've ever experienced in churches. And the other thing that is so remarkable there, and I think I've heard several folks say it, is just a sense of non-judgmentalism. There's no judgment around how you look or where you've been or what happened. It's all about where you're going. Where are you going? And how are you getting yourself there? And how can we work together towards that? But there's no sense, and so even though what would you say? How would you say?
Yeah, you're not being alienated because the council's been there before. Your counselor's been in your shoes before. You got some, some people have been heavy on drugs and, working through programs. They got themselves together. Now they working with people, so they understand, the struggles, battles that you might be having in your mind or whatever. But, they understand you. That's the best thing about being a person in a certain position, that you understand what you're dealing with. Because some people just have in their mind, oh, it's just this simple. No, you have to understand the person. What a person really going through. And if you've been through it, you know what a person really did. So you know how to communicate with people. Just like you're a school teacher, you know how to deal with being a school teacher. You know what to do, you know what to say, so you know what to expect out of the student. So if I'm like an addict or whatever, but I'm not no more, and this is the field that I want to help the people that's been on drugs. I'm understanding and thinking, what they going through, they struggle, they battle. I know the trickeries and everything that they trying. Come on, let's get it together. But that's the main thing about St. Leonard's. They have people that know how to deal with you. Just like I'm there, and when I have a housing, guys just can't just trying to just pull a little stuff. They can't trick me because I don't understand what's going on. People do that. So that's so great about that. People really appreciate you just really talking to them because I was sitting up in the culinary arts class. There's a guy there, and he used to always get up every morning and want to clean up. And I used to help him sometimes, and I give him everything he needs, because that's what he wants to do. He wants to get up and just clean up the field. And he said to the teacher the other day, he said, why I like Eric? And I just turned around like me. And he said, Eric understood me. He said, I get up every morning and I want to do my thing, just keep my mind going. I get up and I want to clean up. That's what he want to do. That's what starts his day. He want to get up and clean up, sweep, vacuum. And he said, Eric used to get up and, not get up, but I'll be at work anyway. He said he understood me, gave me everything I wanted, and he'll help me. Didn't question what I was doing. He just let me do it. I said, I was told him, thank you, man. I gave glory to God because I was actually, God used me to help somebody. And not really knowing that I'm doing this, they really appreciate it, you don't know what a person thinking until they tell you. You can't assume, or just look at the person and just like, oh, I'm thinking this, But it was just a blessing just to hear that. And it made me feel good because I was helping them because I know how it goes sometimes. I just want to get up and do something. Just, have your mind right.
Yeah, almost 50% of the staff at St. Leonard's are alumni, which is pretty remarkable and part of what makes St. Leonard's special. Questions or
like, why? I said, oh, I've been to Europe, I've been to Germany. You know, 'cause I said that, I just, you know, you want to Discovery Channel went off into that, you know, that, all those little, you know, dumb little programs they show now. They used to have some pretty good programs. They had a program I used to love watching, how it's made. You know, they teach you how to make this or this, you know, all kinds of stuff. I used to love watching Discovery Channel and the Travel Channel. They just take you everywhere. And, you know, you can always watch the local news to see what's going on out there. And, you know, you have a lot of institutions, they give you state loans. State loan, like, you know, if you're not fortunate to have a fan, you know, television, stuff like that, you sign a request and ask you what they're seeing over your property, get you one. As long as you in good grace, you're not out there acting crazy. When you get acting silly and want to go see and do silly things, they take their state loans back and that shit punishment. But a lot of people do appreciate that. So, like, when I was going home, it was like tripped up because how the system do it now, right? They say if you're doing time and you might have another case, and you don't know you got this other case pending against you. So they will let you get all the way and sign you out and let you get out front and the sheriff will be waiting on you. They come pick you up and take you because you have another case. So at the end of my house, I don't know why they have another case. This is my mind. You got to do that crazy, thinking crazy. I'm like, man, hope I ain't doing nothing, ain't waiting on me outside. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, just, you know, just like, the devil just be playing with your mind when you just going, I did 25 straight years, so, you know, all I know right now is just inside of these walls, inside these fences, you know, and so, and I'm just thinking like, man, what I'm doing, I go home, you know, and say, I'm gonna stop me or something like that, so all while I'm sitting up in the front, waiting, and for the officer to take me to the train, metro train. So I finally get outside the door, and I was just saying to myself, you know, you ain't got another case, that was silly, man. Right, so I get outside, and they put me in the van, and they take me to the train. So I just look back at the penitentiary, I'm like, wow, you know, but sometimes you're just doing a long bit, man, you think you're not gonna make it. You know, people get sick. I've seen people in the penitentiary, healthy, strong, working out, like I used to do before I got fat. I was just working out all day long, on the yard, doing your thing, just out doing, running. I seen guys run for the whole yard period. It's like 2 hours, just non-stop running. Not no slow pace, it's a nice pace around the yard for a long time. But anyway, I'm just so happy, you know, to be outside and everything's running through my mind. So I'm on the train now, and I'm just looking at everybody around. Because when I left in 95, that's when technology took off. I left in January. So when I left, I had that white brick Motorola phone. Big brick phone with the black antenna on it. I had that first flip. So when you open it up, you just get the little yellow dials and that, you know what I'm saying? It light up when you open it up. That was the only phone I had. So You know, I just felt like somebody took me from another planet, like a predator, and put me on this planet and said, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just sitting there, and I walk into the office, and I'm just, and I didn't know how to say it, so I walk in, his agent lady, yeah, can I help you? I said, I need a payphone. And she looked at me, they started laughing, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking for a payphone, please. And she like, and they started laughing, right? They said, I'm serious. She said, ain't no more payphones. I said, ain't no more payphones. I gotta call home. And she was like, well, and she looked at it, I said, and I had to tell her, I said, look, I just get 25 straight years of independence. I need a payphone. I'm trying to call my sister. And she said, I'm sorry, baby, there ain't no phones. You know? So she reached in her pocket, and she gave me her cell phone. Here I go. So I get the cell phone, I took it out of there. And it was just like, look, the cell phone just screen black and white. And I look up at it, she read, and she's like, here. And she called, she said, what's the number? She called the number for me. And then I was just happy they did that for me because I knew the city, that it was like everything was new downtown, new buildings, new this, but I knew the streets downtown. You know, as long as you know the streets, like I tell them all that we drive, never forget GPS. Read those signs. Read the signs. Recognize your street because your north-south street that runs north and south. Just remember your streets. Forget that GPS, man. GPS takes you all around. It takes you past your stop, then bring you back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still stuck on that. So, but I called my sister and she was like, come get you. She said, well, I'm in a meeting right now. Go get you something. I was like, I'm just out of place. I said, because this is going to be, I got to get to this place, you know, because they're going to lock me out. But, you know, somebody said, hey, hurry, get there, because they're going to lock you out, and you want to come back. I'm like, saying, I'm not, I didn't go up to that attention. So, but, coming back, I have to be there to 12 midnight, and here it is, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'm tripping, because I wanted to stay, so my sister, she finally, I went over to her job where she worked at, and I just sat down in the lobby. Those few hours, about 6, waiting on her. She was like, come on, you want to get that steak now? I said, sis, I got to get to this place. She said, well, all right, I'll hold you this steak. I said, all right. I still didn't get my steak. She told me that expired. She told me I should have got it again. But that's how it is when you come up a long day. You know, you just be, you out of place. And sometimes I still feel out of place when I go there because I'm noticing everybody likes to abbreviate when they text. I don't like texting. I'm like, man, don't you like how to spell? You know what I mean? Because I think that's just like a shortcut of not saying what you're saying. So when I'm texting, I'm on there like, I'm spelling out words. Sometimes I'm talking about phone, I'm making sure it spells out, correctly, so nobody do that no more. So that's why I'm at right now. Because when they abbreviate to me and they text me, I text them back like, what that mean?
Hey, I'm with you.
And I might ask Siri, hey Siri, what is boo and texting? Then she'll give me a definition. Well, this. All this stuff to answer is one or something. So I just tell people like, look, you texting, I don't get text messages. I'm lying. I don't even get you better call me. I said, then you have a good understanding because I would try to text back and they'll misunderstood what I had just said. You know what I'm saying? It's something different, but that's how I was stuck on. I was just so lost, not the point of lost, but